The great thing about staying around Amsterdam is that there are some amazing great day trips. Nearby was a small residential called Zaanse Schans. I heard this was a good place to go to see some traditional Dutch culture. It captures the spirit of the 18th and 19th century in a small little village. It sounded just very picturesque, which was exactly what I was looking for. Zaanse Schans was started in the 1960s to capture some of the Dutch cultural history in its buildings. The Industrial Revolution meant that as more and more buildings were being torn down. So a project was started to preserve these old buildings. Whole buildings were transported on the back of trucks and moved into Zaanse Schans, or in some cases they deconstructed and reconstructed the buildings in the area.
It's pretty damn awesome, I must admit. Pretty much anything that you associate with Dutchness you can find here, from clogs, cheese, the bakery, snacks, and of course windmills. This whole place is really geared up for tourists. It feels like most of the village comprises of souvenir shops. Actually, the highlights of the whole trip so far to see the actual windmills working, and then also going to the clogs museum where you see, well, clogs. And yeah, it's actually quite impressive. I actually tried a pair on and it's quite comfortable, surprisingly so. So I definitely recommend that. But also what makes this quite cool is the fact that because it's a heritage village sponsored by the government, the village itself is free to get into. But there are specific museums you actually have to pay, and if you want to go inside a windmill, you actually also have to pay for that as well. You can get yourself a special one-day card. It's like a bundle card that gives you access to a whole bunch of stuff. I myself didn't bother doing that. I wasn't too bothered about some of the museums they're showing, and I decided to pay separately for the actual windmill access, which you can also do as well. It's like €3 or €4. There's also a museum in the area that tells you more about the whole history behind this whole village. Worth visiting, worth doing, check it out.
It's about a 17-minute train journey costing about €3 from Amsterdam Centraal